Thank you, Madam Speaker, and through you to the members. I want to thank the Speaker. I want to thank the gentleman from the North End. I want to thank the gentleman from Stoneham for bringing forward this bill today. I want to thank you specifically for the provisions that protect first and foremost a woman's right to have control over her health, her care, and her body. Next, I want to thank you for the protection that you afford providers who provide options, discussions, and medical care to women who desperately need it. And finally, I want to thank you for also thinking about people like myself and like many of you here in this chamber who have chosen to help girls and women who find themselves confronted by this situation. As a representative, as a woman, and especially as a Catholic, I find the discussion and the discourse that has gone on nationally to be disgusting, to be out of character for our country, and out of character for my faith and my religion. The narrative that constantly portrays girls and women faced with this decision to abort a pregnancy as some sort of careless, morally bankrupt villain is quite honestly a disgrace. I have found in my 50 years that women find themselves faced with this decision most often because of events that were outside of their control, through no fault of their own. Because in life, they may have led their life to meet a superior moral code, but that didn't ensure against something bad happening to them. Events such as rape, incest, a doctor telling them that their pregnancy could threaten their life, or medical advice that the fetus may eventually be born with physical and mental challenges that go beyond the definition of what we know as special needs, or that the fetus they're carrying may never mature into a child at all. Sure, I can go on and on about the role that men play in this whole circumstance and predicament, but I'm not going to do that today. I'll let one of my other colleagues talk about it, or we'll just save it for another day, because I want to focus today on women, because women deserve this much out of this debate. Too oftentimes we hear that it is the woman who put herself in this predicament. And what comes next is all of the different ways we should punish a woman for falling into a predicament that she had no control over. It doesn't make sense. And yet, we've allowed, as adults, we have allowed for the past 50 years for this discourse to continue until what it resulted in last week. And as the chairman said before me, enough. I firmly believe that it's a woman's right to choose what will happen with her pregnancy, and I would go beyond to say that it's not only a right, but it's a sacred decision. It's a decision that she makes. It's a decision that she's concerned with. It's a decision that comes along with the God-given right of motherhood. If you want to tell me that there's a God-given right, yes, it's to motherhood if she should choose it, if she should determine that the circumstances are the circumstances called upon to bring forward a child. It is her. It is she decides. It is she that decides if she wants to contemplate and discuss that with God. It is she that decides if she wants to discuss that with her doctor. And I think you'll find that in 100% of the cases, there is that type of contemplation that occurs. It's not something that needs to be legislated by us. And why do I say that? Because I have faith in humanity. I have faith in people. And I guess what just totally disappoints me over the past week is listening time and time and time again to people telling me that they have no faith in people. They want to sit up there, they want to beat their breasts and talk about this, that, and every other moral code. But if you listen to them carefully enough, what they're saying is they have no faith in humanity. And so in order to correct that, they need to substitute their morality, their hypocritical sense of a morality that is superior to anybody else's, with their own, because they have no faith in humanity. Perhaps it is them that needs to look in the mirror and needs to take account of what it is that's coming out of their mouths and why it's coming out of their mouths. You notice that when I talked about who a woman should consult with, I didn't put myself in there. I didn't put lawmaker in there because I don't belong in there. And yes, in case you're wondering, I have spoken to far too many women who are in this decision, who have come seeking counsel, women and girls. And yes, this may come to a shocker to some, but I know girls as young as 14 who have had to face this decision. They did not come to me as a lawmaker. They came to me as a friend, as a relative. And yes, in instances, they chose to move forward with the pregnancy. But see, this is the insidious nature of the Dobbs decision. And let's make no mistake about it, okay? In Dobbs, here's what the court does. The court takes away the ability for those discussions, for that discernment to occur. It takes away all of that. It says to the woman, here's the deal. You're a second-class citizen, but perhaps you're not even a second-class citizen. What you are is a vessel. You are a vessel for whatever is inside of you. You are a vessel, perhaps, for an incomplete fetus. You are a vessel, perhaps, for a fetus that will not survive outside of the womb. You are a vessel for every injustice that may have occurred against your body, including incest, including rape. That's what you are, and that's all you are. Because what would make you human is the ability to discern what the next chapter and what the next step should be. But we are going to take that ability for you to decide. We're going to take it away from you. We're going to make it for you because our code of moral well-being is superior to any road that you may travel. And I will say this as a Catholic. I will say there are many roads that Scripture teaches us about. Scripture teaches us about the road to Emmaus. Scripture teaches us about the road to Calvary. And here's what Scripture does, in that so many people bastardize when they talk about Christian faith or any faith. They want you to believe that if you do everything right according to their moral code, they want you to believe that God will give you a life that is easy, a life that is light, that He will pave the way for you and make everything right for you. But we know that that is not true. And we know that that's no true because we live in a world where rape, where incest, where abuse, where pregnancies won't go to term. We live in a world when all of that exists. And so today what we do is you say something that's utterly amazing and that utterly goes to Christianity, that utterly goes to humanity when you vote for this bill. Because what you say the first thing to women is that you are a person, that you are human, that you are able to come to your own decisions, and that you are able to travel your own road to your own salvation. That is it. You are in control of that. You are in control of all the relationships that go into that. You're in control. You have the choice to walk down that road with the freedom that the Constitution gives you, with the freedom that your religion gives you, with the freedom that humanity gives you in recognizing that you are a human being. That's what you say when you vote for this bill. And what you say to all the providers that are in this state, you say we are giving you the freedom to counsel that woman along that road of humanity. And what you're saying to everybody who, like me, outside of any official capacity, have had somebody age 14 to their 40s come to you as a person seeking compassion and seeking empathy and seeking recognition for the challenges that they confront. You say to everyone along that road that you will recognize that we see you and that you have a place in this world. Not that because of some unforeseen circumstance that you're a lesser person. No. We say that we're going to give you the full force and embodiment of every right granted to you unto whether you think it's the Constitution, under whether you think it's humanity, or whether you think it's under a God. Last but not least, I want to say this. If you've heard nothing else that I've said today, to my colleagues and to whoever may be listening to this, we have gotten to a place in politics, and this is politics. This decision is not good law. You don't turn around after 50 years of precedent and say, we're changing something as dramatically as this. No, you don't say that unless there's political pressure to do it. That's the only reason you do that. And it's not lost on me that we're in a year reflecting upon a president who led an insurrection against his own government, against our own government and democracy. That the machinations of the Supreme Court judicial process of selecting judges occurred in the way that it did to achieve not a legal outcome, but to achieve a political outcome, because that's what this is. This is a political outcome, not a legal one. Let's not be mistaken about that. But in this country, we have gotten to the point where as soon as somebody else agrees with somebody else, the objective is to vilify the other side, to pick up our rocks, and to start throwing them. And I'd be remiss if I didn't say this. If people want to talk about Christianity and they want to talk about the Bible, then go back and read the section where Christ says, do not throw the first stone unless you are the person without sin. And there was only one person deemed not to have sin in that scripture passage, and he chose to throw no rocks. So before we get to the point of condemning women in this chamber, outside of this chamber, and anywhere in the national discourse, let's take heed of those words. Madam Speaker, I want to thank you for the opportunity to speak today. Mr. Speaker, again, I cannot thank you enough as a Catholic, as a woman, as a member of this House, instructed by my constituents to come here and represent them in the best way possible today. And to all who worked on this legislation to make sure that it came forthwith today, without hesitation. Without hesitation. Once again, Massachusetts becomes a leader in this country to say to the rest of the world, we will remain a beacon of light, we will remain a beacon of democracy, and above all else, even if other states in this country choose not to, we will remain a beacon for the rights and the humanity of women. Thank you.